All right, welcome back to part 5 of my directory engine course that I've been creating, where I go step by step on setting up a directory engine with the local directory within the Ligna platform. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so. All these videos are coming out in order. This particular video, we're going to cover the blog. So we've set up the entire website. We've done all our optimization. We've done all our linking. Everything is pretty much ready to go. Next is obviously pumping data into this directory, but this particular local directory, I'm leveraging a blog. So I have a blog tab here that obviously doesn't link to anything yet. It's just linking to the blog tab. And then I also have this blog feed down here, which doesn't have any posts yet. So what I need to do is actually set up the blog. So the first step is to go over to CMS blogs. And you're going to want to create a new blog. So this blog, actually, let me just make sure my size is set properly. Okay, we're good. Create new blog. Name this title lawyers. Put that as blog. The type, this is going to be funnel connected. It's not a standalone blog. So it's a connected funnel. Connected to a funnel. And then I'm going to select my lawyers. Right, so this is going to be connected to that. When you have a connected funnel to your blog, those global blocks that we use on the site, the header, the footer, any CTAs or any of that stuff, those are available for you to use to design your blog. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and hit add and go into the blog settings. And inside the blog settings, I'm going to set the URL. So the URL format is just like that. I'm going to go ahead and grab my URL and I'm going to throw in /blog. Now, of course, if I went out to this blog, it would not show up. It wouldn't look like anything. So let me go into here because I don't have a design yet. It's just going to be blank, right? So we need to start configuring the design. So you're going to click on the Builder tab. And the first thing you're designing, you'll see it over here on the Pages tab, the first thing you're setting up is the blog home. There's 2 pages that you have to design. You have to design the home page and you have to design the single post page. Now, it's really easy to do this if it's a connected funnel. All you need to do is click on this tab right here with the plus sign, scroll all the way down. If you're going to make your blog the same design as your website, which you should, you're going to use these global blocks, and then you're also going to use, obviously, the pre-built templates that we have available for you to bring over and use within the actual blog itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is drag over my global header. And because this is set up in a way to where your header in the previous videos, the hero or the top title section goes behind the navigation. You're not going to want to drag your footer over first. You're going to want to drag over this our blog link or page, like the top part of the page. Sorry. So you drag that over and there you go. So just like what we do on the website, you're going to click here, you're going to click on style, you're going to come over here to decorations, and you're going to click over here and go ahead and remove that. Click on images, and I'm just going to use that exact same image that I used on the inside pages, which was this one. I'm going to go ahead and choose that. I'm going to set the position to, well, actually that came out pretty good. I'll leave it like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and save it. All right, so you'll see that it's blog.title. That's the tag that pulls in the page title, or the post title also pulls in the blog title. It pulls in the category title. Don't need to mess with that. That's all set there. The link to homepage, you will need to update that. Actually, it's already built in that way, and then there's no link there. So what I like to do, because depending on the size of your screen, if you're too far down, with like dragging over an actual element. For example, let's say I dragged over, which I'm on the blog homepage, so I need to pull over the post widget. So it's basically this, right? So this is the individual post for the blog. Here's your title. Here's the widget for all your posts. That's category in the home. And then you also have the actual post itself, the individual post. So when I drag this over, remember we're looking for the long green line. That way the segments are broken up. When I drag that over, sometimes it goes a little too far depending on your browser. So it's harder to pull in the global footer. So what I like to do after I put my title in there, this section, I like to bring over my global footer. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that over. Remember, look for the long green line. And then I'm going to go ahead and save it. So now that I have that in there, now I want to bring over my actual post section, which is this. So I'm going to drag that over. But again, I'm looking for the long green line. I don't want it to show up right here or somewhere in here. I'm looking for it to be right in between. Let that go. And now I'm going to go ahead and hit save. So if I were to go out to my blog now, oops, not sure what I'm doing there. Now if I go out to my blog, this is what it looks like. Now the name, the title, that's just the name inside the settings. I'm obviously going to change that. Not sure if I like that. I may just do law blog, something like that. But obviously I don't have any posts in here and that's why nothing is showing. So the next thing I need to do is design the internal page, the actual post page. So just click on pages, click on single post. And same thing here. I'm going to bring over my global header. Then I'm going to bring over the post header or the hero. Again, changing out the image on this one. Clicking on style, clicking on decorations, clicking on image, remove that image, click on images. I'm going to grab banner 2. All right, I'm going to go ahead and save that. Okay, now I'm going to bring the footer over. Now I could have just dragged the footer over instead of hitting save, but I'm going to go ahead and do it now. Let's go over here to the footer, global footer, bring that over here. And then I'm going to come up over here to a single post and I'm going to bring this over. I'm looking for, I want it right there. Drop that. Good to go. Just hit save. So now my post, everything that I have set up for the blog, which I don't have any posts in here yet. We're about to put some posts in. I have an internal post and I have I actually have the blog feed that shows up here. And then in addition to that, I have all my posts that will show up within there, right? So next I'm going to actually add some blog posts. So I'm going to come back over here to pages. I'm going to click on settings. That's going to take me back into the post section. Well, I'm actually in the settings of the blog. So what I'm going to leverage, if you haven't seen it yet, but there's this new tab called AI Publishing. This is where our system will leverage our AI PostPilot to generate blog posts and images for you, as many as you want. Let me actually pull up real quick my settings. So the first thing you're going to want to do is just click on the AI Publishing. Now this uses OpenAI. You just grab your API key and throw it in here. If you want, in my opinion, better looking images, you can get a Black Forest Labs API key. That's the Flux version 1 Pro. I believe it's way better than OpenAI, but others have said they like the OpenAI image creator. If you don't have this API filled out here, then it'll use OpenAI to generate the actual images for you. But I am going to use the Black Forest. So let me grab my API key, throw that in there. Let me get my other one and throw that in there. Okay. So I have that. We'll come back and do the SEO and optimization here. But now that I have that in there, I can click on post, cancel. And you'll see this icon. This icon for the AI PostPilot does not show up unless you have at least the OpenAI AI key in the AI publishing settings. Obviously, I'm going to do more integrations, but that's the first one. So you go ahead and click on this. This is going to pop up all your settings to set this up, right? So the first setting, I'm going to grab the latest model. It's available. And I have already prepared some prompts. So basically the way the prompts work is you're setting the system prompt. So if you haven't done all that, you should look into that. But this is basically telling, what the model is, what ChatGPT needs to be, whether it be a senior content strategist or whatever you want to call it. You basically set the tone for that, right? And then you have the specific instructions that you want to supply for the prompt. But basically what you're doing is you're supplying instructions on the topics. So the way this works is we already have all these pre-built prompts all the way down to the images all the way throughout, creating dynamic summaries and all these other things, right? The idea is that you write a really effective prompt to create the right topics. And then the AI PostPilot will generate all the content based on those particular topics. So my first one, and obviously you can use ChatGPT to write this, but basically my system is, senior content strategist at a legal marketing agency, right? And just all this other information in there as far as setting the tone. And then for my user prompt, I did a bunch of different stuff here. But basically, I gave examples of certain category structures and titles. I'm talking about, the local services directory, legal service directory. Basically gave examples. I explained not to repeat phrases like ultimate guide, those types of things. What I would do is I would set this to only generate 2 posts and test it out and then delete those posts until you get it. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So we're going to start, and you can backdate too. So I'm actually going to backdate, make it look like my directory's been around for a while, and I'm going to go ahead and hit submit. So what this does is this adds this to the queue, and a minute later, it's going to go ahead and, obviously run through that. Runs pretty quickly. In the meantime, let's go back over to some of these settings so you can take a look at this. We'll come back into here in about a minute and look at this. So pretty much just like the website settings, you got your branding, which is your domain format. Remember, I just covered that. Your SEO, your title, description, put that in. And then your AI publishing, obviously, and then your embed. This is where you would actually embed additional scripts. On the SEO, I didn't write one yet, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of time doing that. I guess I could do that now. Let me jump over here to ChatGPT and say, write me a great meta title. I'll obviously go in here and change this and description. That's pretty good. I love how ChatGPT knows I like spikes. So, all right, I'll come back and look at that. So this should already ran. So I'm going to come over here to post. And so it already created one, right? So this already schedules it out, right? And it also does basically so this is what a post looks like. This is, your editing section. So you can come in here and edit everything. And then in addition, it does, creates a nice image. It does the post title URL. It creates the scheduled post. And then in addition to that, on SEO, it's going to create your SEO titles and descriptions for you automatically. So let me go out to the blog real quick, take a look, make sure everything looks okay. So there are my 2 blogs, right? They look pretty good. I mean, sure, I'll go in and look at them. There's some formatting issues here that I would like to clean up. But other than that, that looks pretty good. So what I would do at this point is I would then schedule this out, for 365 days and have this blog just going nonstop. There's a sitemap that's associated with the blog too. So if you go to your blog, it's /sitemap, and this will generate your blogs that you've been created. You're going to want to submit that obviously to Google Search Console as well, which the following video will walk you through what I do on that. But other than that, that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple to set up a blog. Now, the last thing to do is connect it to my website, right? So if I come out to my website, I have no blog feed going here. And the reason why is I haven't signed a blog to this particular blog feed. So I'm going to come back out to templates, funnels, click on lawyers. I'm going to move down to that blog feed. And basically, you just click on the blog post widget, click right here. You'll see it right around there. Click on settings, and then you're going to choose that blog that you've created. So I'm going to do the lawyer's blog. And because this design, I believe this design does that. Let me just go ahead and save this real quick and see what it looks like. I believe this design does more than 3, but I may be wrong on that. No. So there's a couple other designs we have that creates like a slider so you can slide through. So it's just 3 here. You can have as many as you want. You can have it all broken down to have each one here, but this is the 3 that come out, right? So this shows up everywhere throughout the site, and then of course links directly into the actual blog itself. So of course you could format these a little bit better, you know, mess with the design a little bit and do that. I'm gonna go back around and mess with that, but pretty straightforward, pretty awesome actually. And yeah, let me know what you think of that. That only works if you put your OpenAI keys in there, and then if you want the better imaging, use the Black Forest API. Other than that, hopefully you're getting some value out of all these. I got several more coming out, obviously, to finish this off. So make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.